should be live now. We'll find out in a second. Yes, it's working. It's working. I feel like Anakin in episode 1, where he turns on the pod racer and he yells, "It's working," over and over. How's it going, everybody? See a bunch of people here.
The only lines he didn't flub. Wah, wah.
Oh, don't be blaming him for bad writing.
That's me. No, I have no problem with the kid that they hired to play Anakin at all. But the internet hate for him was just like, oh, come on, guys.
Yeah.
He's a child.
Yeah, he's a kid. And if you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at George Lucas for surrounding himself with yes men instead of people that would tell him, really a good idea to focus on the politics of this? Or should we have, some lasers or something? I don't know. You
want to talk about alien beings living in someone's blood? Really? That's what you're going to say controls the Force? All right. I mean, sure, George, if you're up to that. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but you're the boss.
I will say, and don't worry, there will be no spoilers, everybody. The Mandalorian, really good. It's so good. I'm very much enjoying it.
This week's episode was so damn awesome.
It was really, really good. And I can't wait to see what else that they do.
I'm looking forward to the rumored spin-offs and other things that they're working on. So yeah, I'm excited.
Although that stuff's so far away, I'm sure.
Yeah, it won't be anytime soon, I'm sure. We're in a code red here in Manitoba, so there's no stores open or anything. I was supposed to have a haircut yesterday, was my normal haircut day. So I am bushy. I have a bushy beard, like it's bigger than Bill's. I'm turning into a mountain man here. I think I might just let it go all winter, and I'll be like,
you will not.
I'll be like Grizzly Adams by the end of winter, as I make my way outside of my cave.
Every time I try and let my beard grow long, it's just too irritating. Like the mustache hairs get in your mouth, and you're like, I'm constantly doing this all the time, and I'm like, all right, I got to trim this thing up because I can't stand it.
Get some good mustache wax and do the little spinny thing. I got a weird thing where this side of my face, the hair contours and goes like around the chin, like way in a way that would look normal, and this one like flares out like I have a spoiler. So I have like a spoiler on one side of my cheek, and then this one's aerodynamic, so I think
to slow you down.
Yeah, but I only go in circles because of the air resistance is too much on one side.
Symmetry is, I mean, look at the PS5. Symmetry is overrated.
Very true.
I'm just kidding. I hate the way that thing looks. It's so hideous.
Oh man.
Although, hey, everybody, my son wants a PS5. So if you see a deal online, tweet at me, because I would like to get him one for Christmas, and I can't find them anywhere. It's not going to happen. But tweet at me at Run Jump Stomp.
I'll keep you in mind for sure.
No, not you, because you're in Canada. I won't be able to get any of those.
But I follow the U.S. sales as well.
Okay.
Because I know enough people down there that are looking.
I wish that I could put Wario64 on Alert Me only for PS5 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he tweets out so much stuff, I can't have him on alert. Like, I put him on alert when the NES Classic came out.
Right.
Because I really wanted an NES Classic, and it turns out I didn't need to, because I was able to get my hands on two of them, one for me, one for my brother-in-law. But, like, I had him on alert, and it was like a deluge. Did I pronounce that right? I think so.
You did.
I don't think I've ever heard the words spoken out loud. I've only seen it in books. It was like a deluge of tweets coming at me all the time.
That is so funny, because I have the same conversation with my wife, because she read like a million books by the time that we started dating. So there's many words that she only knows from reading. So stuff like tousled hair, she called it tousled. Armageddon instead of Armageddon. So many words, and she'll say something and I'll be like, what? And she's like, what? Say that again. Armageddon? No,
Armageddon.
it's Armageddon. She's like, oh no,
Oh.
oh no. Have I been saying that wrong all the time? And I'm like, well, you haven't actually been saying it, is what the problem is. You've been thinking it, and you've been thinking it wrong. So you're okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's too funny. Armageddon.
Anthony Keys, she's watching and she'll want a divorce now. No, it's a divorkey is what she calls it. So it'll be fine.
That's great. Okay, before we get started, I want to run through. We had a whole bunch of people become members since the last time that we posted anything. So I'm going to read them real quick. All right. We had Kumna, Trevs, Zane, David, Viriato, Thomas, Leons, Matthew, Sir Taco Bell, Kodiak Moonwolf, Link TV, Adam Cook, Sajid, Paul, Obi-Wan Cannoli, Simliker, oh boy, that one's tough. Tooth Rot, Hussein, Adam, Abel, Bowser, Consino, Eduardo, Jacob, Night Chills, Tom, Adam, and Sammy on Stadia, all within the last week. Some of those are like people renewing their membership. Some of those are people who are members for the first time. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much for the support. It is absolutely insane how awesome you guys are, and we really appreciate it. We really do. And then since we went live, we had Ruben DeGeeling and Ray Sherrod both sent in super chats as ways to support the show as well. But you guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you very, very much.
Awesome. And also before we get started, want to wish Kodiak Moonwolf a very happy birthday. Everybody,
it's Matt's birthday.
If they could wish Coda a happy birthday, that would be awesome.
And by the way, Kodiak is our mega mod in our community Discord. He is incredibly smart and awesome, and he's also a Twitch streamer. So you guys should go to his Twitch channel right now. All 170 people that are here at the beginning of the show. You should go to his Twitch channel right now, twitch.tv/Kodiak Moonwolf. I don't know if there's an underscore in there. And give him a follow because he's awesome. Happy birthday, man.
That's the cheapest birthday present you'll ever give someone.
That's right. That's right. It is. It doesn't cost you a thing. All right. Are you? Oh gosh, I got to open up the recording software.
Oh, excuse me. Stadiacast update. Our cats are now. They've been together for 6 months or 5 months. They've been together. No, 6 months. We've had both of them for 6 months. They now every once in a while will end up on the same chair and snuggle for naps during the day. So they're becoming friends, Bill. I didn't think it would happen. I thought they'd always be okay with each other, but never friends. But they actually kind of like each other. I'm super happy.
I don't know if people saw my tweet. I sent out a tweet yesterday. Speaking of Stadia cats. And this one, I wanted people to give it a caption. All right. So my wife and I were sitting in here. She was putting something away in the closet on the other side of the room. And Marvy decides to hop up on my bike and sit on the actual bike seat. And so I took a picture and I tweeted out, caption this. Or I guess I should have said caption this.
There you go.
So there you go. If you guys want to hop in on that, I'm at Run Jump Stomp on Twitter. You can find this tweet and you can caption it, and it's funny.
I don't know how that cat got up on that little seat. I don't understand. Cat. Cats are weird, man. They defy the laws of gravity most of the time.
Well, he climbed up on my weights, which are behind it.
Okay.
Which all of that stuff in the next 2 or 3 months, all of that stuff is getting out of this room. My wife and I are going to move all of that stuff to what it is right now called the room of requirement, which when she lost her job in last year, she moved all of her stuff from her classroom into that room, right, so that she could have it for her next classroom. Which, don't worry, everybody, she was able to find a job. We were biting our nails for a little bit, but
Yeah.
She did substituting for a while, and now she's got another position at a school, which is actually a bit closer to our house than was before. So it's actually kind of worked out. And she's slowly been moving stuff out of that room. So what we'll end up doing is once that room is empty, she told me I can get a treadmill. And so I'm going to get a treadmill, and I'm going to move the bike down there and the weights down there, and it's going to be awesome. And I can't wait because I've been really wanting to have a treadmill for a very long time. And I'm just excited. And I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, but I am anyway, because I don't know, conversations take an organic flow. All right. Wolok sent in a super chat. They said, hey, all, happy Sunday. Live long and prosper. I like that there's a Star Trek. What's the
acronym?
What? Emote?
An acronym? Oh, an emote. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the LLAP.
Oh, acronym. No. No, there's a Star Trek emote. That's cool. Can you do that? I know that like there's a lot of people who can't.
I can only do it on one hand.
You have to put your thumb out.
Oh, I can do that as well. I usually go like this sometimes. I can only do it on one hand. I can't do it on this hand for whatever reason. The muscles that connect these two fingers aren't talking to each other.
I'm disappointed in you. All right.
Yeah, I'm only prospering with half my body right now.
There you go. Okay, are you ready to record a show?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
We've given a Stadiacast update. We've given an exercise room update. We've given a beard update. I think we should probably talk about video games at some point. So I'm going to hit record and we can get started.
Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, back to Stadiacast. Stadiacast is your source for all of the Stadia stuff that you might want to know about. I'm Bill. That's Lloyd. What's going on, Lloyd?
Not much, man. Can you believe it is almost December? Like, what has happened to this year with all the craziness that's going on? That time feels like it is both the longest it's ever been, but also incredibly short. I don't understand this weird time vortex we're currently residing in.
I don't refer to it as December. I refer to it as March 234th because it's it feels so weird. But hey, you know what? It's been a really good year for video games, and that's what we're here to talk about. But yeah, it is almost December, which means we're almost to 2021. And there's some Stadia news to talk about. Before we do record the show live at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern on Sundays. And it's funny, I didn't realize that confused you so much, Lloyd. I was watching Cloudburst yesterday, and it made me laugh. We recorded over on our YouTube channel, so make sure that you guys check that out. If you're here with us live and you want to directly support the show, you can use that super chat feature to make sure that we see your message. We will reply to each and every super chat at the end of the show. Usually people use that to give us discussion points that they really want us to talk about. So you can use that feature. And not only does it make sure that we see your message, it also supports the show. If you are not here with us live, or even if you are, you can also use the join button to become a member, which is awesome. You guys, everybody who's been doing that, you guys are fantastic. We're at our highest number of members ever right now, which is really fantastic. And, if you're watching this video after the fact, you can also click on the weird applaud button, which is a weird thing on YouTube, but it's there and people like using it, even though we can't see who does it. So we can't say thank you, but thank you to everybody who uses that button. Yeah. All right. As we start every show, I like to start the show with what we've been playing. But first, really quick, Stadiacast has been nominated for the Cloudy Game Awards, which is really, really cool. There is a link in the show notes. I'm actually copying the link right now.
I'm pasting it in.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yep.
There's a link in the show notes that you guys can check out. I'll also try and remember to put it in the description. I didn't think of that beforehand. But right now it's in the live chat where you guys can go vote. So really awesome to be nominated. I don't really care if we win. It's just awesome that they recognized the show and it's really awesome. So the Cloudy Game Awards, make sure you go and you vote, and make sure that you check out some of the other content creators that are also nominated, because there's a lot of really awesome content creators out there. Go ahead, Lloyd.
100%. It's an honor to be nominated in the first Cloudy Game Awards. And as Bill said, being nominated is really the important thing. It shows that we're doing the right stuff here, which is fantastic. So go vote. You don't have to vote for us. We'd appreciate if you did, but you don't have to. There's a lot of really amazing content creators out there that all deserve your clicks and your watching time. So if nothing else, maybe this will introduce you to someone new that you didn't realize did Stadia content before.
Yeah, last week was Stadia Super Saturday, and that was the week where we were having all kinds of connection issues with my internet, which caused the show to be all super framey and everything, and for that I apologize. But I was watching some of the Stadia Super Saturday stuff, and I found a bunch of content creators that I'd never heard of before, so I thought that was really cool. It was a fun event, and I can't wait for the next one. Lloyd, let's talk about what we've been playing.
Sure.
You can go first. You talk about what you've been playing first.
Well, mainly, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla still. It looks like Ubisoft, before they came out with the 1.04 patch, which fixed some issues that people were having, it seems like they finally figured out how to do the cross progression stuff properly. I had an issue. I started on Stadia and played 20 hours on Stadia or whatever it was. And then I got my Xbox Series X, and I really wanted to take a look at one of the better games that came out at launch. So I snagged Valhalla for Xbox, loaded up my cloud saves. It came up with a bunch of warnings about what is it, corrupted data or something, but the game loaded and I'm like, oh, that's a weird bug or whatever. But then when both my Stadia version and Xbox version were uploading saves to the cloud, none of them worked. So I was like worried that I lost like 40 hours of gameplay. Nothing was actually lost except for maybe about 4 hours of content. But anything like going to Ubisoft Connect in the game threw up an error, taking a picture in game, which uploads it to the cloud, and you get like little like picture icons on your map. All that was throwing errors, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, well, I guess I broke it. But then all of a sudden, it just started working. So I've been having a lot of fun playing on Stadia, playing on TVs, playing on my phone, putting it or stopping the game, letting the saves upload, and then later that day picking up where I left off on my Xbox. And it really kind of shows the sort of the dream that Google had for Stadia, where they don't want save games locked behind platforms. They don't want multiplayer locked behind platforms. They want gaming to be available to the masses. And even though this is Ubisoft, I think it fits in nicely to Stadia's kind of vision for the future of video gaming, and it works really, really well. So I was quite happy that was sorted out.
A platform agnostic, I don't know, way of going forward, I think, is what we are going to see soon. I think that soon, more and more, we're going to see where developers are saying, all right, well, we're going to make sure that all of our stuff is cross-save and all of our stuff is cross-platform. You know, we had the fight last gen, and so hopefully that's all solved, and we can move forward with platform agnosticism. I don't know if that's the right word, but being platform agnostic. And that's what my hope has always been, is that nobody would feel like they're trying to lock you in. And I understand the appeal of trying to lock somebody in. I totally understand why a company would say, but if we get them locked in, then they'll have to keep buying stuff from us. And that just feels, I don't like that. So I love the idea that it works. It's tough that it was not as smooth as it could have been.
Right.
But we're working out the kinks. We're figuring this stuff out. Do you play anything else?
I played the tech support game because I tried contacting Ubisoft support about this, and the guy that I talked to on the other end is like, okay, well, you have to open a bunch of ports on your router, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I said, okay, I'm playing on Stadia, so I don't have access to Google's networking settings to open ports that go directly to the one blade I'm playing on. So I don't think ports are going to be a thing. And he's like, yep, take a video of you opening ports and then contact us again. And then the call hung up on me, the text chat that I was doing. And I'm like, really? You want me to open ports on Stadia's side, you fools? But they don't know.
In today, for somebody to ask me or ask you to open up ports on your router is a ridiculous thing to ask. Most people, if you had said, hey, can you open up port, I don't know, 3724 on your router? Like my mother, like if my mom was trying to do this, she'd be like, well, I would be getting a phone call because like, and guess what? I would have to Google it because I don't know how to do that off the top of my head. Depends on your router. That's just bad customer service. Ubisoft, you can do better. You can do better. Yeah. All right, let's talk about. I'm going to talk about what I've been playing a little bit. You seem like you have more to say.
No, that's about it. Okay. Valhalla and a little bit of Star Wars. I know you're going to be talking about that, so I'll let you take the lead on that one.
Well, I think we're both going to be talking about Star Wars because I want to get your impressions of the graphics. I will say, when I loaded it up, that initial gameplay thing where you are playing as the dude Cal, I think his name is. Where you're playing as Cal and you are climbing around trying to get to like this broken thing that your boss has asked you to fix. That is friggin' beautiful. That is a beautiful, like the graphics are insanely gorgeous. The environment is incredibly well done. What an awesome tutorial level. It looked absolutely gorgeous. And then I got out of that area and I started to play the game. And, when you're just running around, swinging your lightsaber, killing like these giant frog things on this planet or whatever, like that all looks fine. But then whenever you see somebody's face, like the people look, unless it's a pre-rendered cutscene, the people look absolutely terrible. Especially, I think her name is Siri. She's got like short hair. Her eyes are too big for her face. Like she's got that whole Captain America thing from Square Enix going on, almost like, It just doesn't look right. And I don't know, maybe she's an alien and I don't know yet. She seemed like a human. But tell me about because you've played the game before on other platforms. Tell me about the graphics on other platforms.
Sure. So I played it originally on an Xbox One S. So no 4K support. It was 1080p. The game didn't support 4K anyway, but it wasn't like upscaled to 4K for a 4K screen. And it looked pretty much like it did the first time you land on a planet. So not the tutorial mission, but when you get to the planet, everything's kind of it's like it has like Vaseline smeared on the lens to kind of blur things out on the edges and things like that. So when I did my first look, I was looking at the tutorial level and I'm like, okay, I heard people say that this was running at 4K. And I'm like, okay, maybe it is 4K. It looks really decent, but maybe it's 4K with 1080p models. Like maybe there's something going on here. But then you get to the planet and it definitely is running at 1080p or less, but it is 60 frames a second, which is a huge improvement to playing it on the consoles. So it's kind of halfway there, but there's definitely some lighting issues on the models, like the Siri's eyes or Sarah's eyes or whatever however you pronounce her name, I can't recall. They look like they have shadows for something that is like 4 inches like off of her face. Like it has this weird shadowing thing that's going on, right? Really, really bizarre. But other than that, I mean, the game looks beautiful. The fact that when you have HDR turned on, the luminosity between the dark and the light, when you have your lightsaber out, is just unbelievably awesome looking.
Ooh, maybe I should turn that on.
The sound design looks great, or is great, sounds great. Everything else about the game is fantastic. But yeah, it does look a little rough, like when you land on that first planet to go to the temple, and you kind of stand at the edge of a cliff, and the camera kind of pans back, and it looks like you're like 8 pixels tall. Like it looks super blocky and weird. So hopefully that doesn't continue too much. I haven't gotten past that planet yet. I haven't had a chance to play much more Star Wars, unfortunately, because of Valhalla. But yeah, it looks rough. But at the end of the day, I don't really care so much what the graphics look like, as long as the game is fun. And this is a fun game. I just hope that enough people out there can kind of look past some kind of low res models almost, or low res textures in certain areas, and continue on with the story, because it is a really good story about Cal Kestis, and a really interesting time in the Star Wars history, as far as like Jedi and the order, the new order, or the Empire, or whoever is in control. They're trying to fight that out. It's a really cool Star Wars story that is worth playing through if you're a Star Wars fan.
And I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm definitely, excuse me, I'm definitely interested in playing through it. In fact, my wife was in the, like, she came into the room I was playing, and she's like, "What's this?" You know, like, my character didn't have his lightsaber at the time. Well, I mean, like, he has one, but he didn't have his lightsaber out. So, like, she didn't immediately recognize it as Star Wars. It was just like, oh, right, look, he's playing some game. And she looked at it, and I go, "Oh, it's Star Wars." And I pulled out the lightsaber, and she goes, "Oh, that's cool. What's this on?" And I said, "Oh, it's on Stadia." And she goes, "How much is it?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I got it as a review copy." I thought that she was asking, like, how much did you spend on this game that you didn't tell me about, you know? Because she's in charge of the money in our house, because she's better at that stuff than I am. And I was like, "Well, no, I got it as a review copy." She's like, "No, I want to play it too. And I want us to, like, can we play together?" And I was like, "No, we can't play together. It's a single player game. There's no online stuff. So we can play it. We could just, because there's family sharing, we just won't play it at the same time." And she's like, "All right, that's awesome." So she's pretty excited to try it out. She hasn't yet, because we've been busy doing stuff. But
that's awesome.
The game, look, I was focusing on the graphics because everybody was saying how gorgeous the game was, and you're right. They're right. There are moments where the game is very, very pretty, especially in that moment-to-moment gameplay. I think it looks great. It's just some points it feels like EA completely phoned it in, which, let's be honest, we're talking about EA. Not a huge surprise. That's kind of their MO, is that they phone it in. Right. Look at FIFA on the Switch, for an example. So I'm enjoying the game, and I'm going to keep playing it. And I think so far, I think it's a really good game, and I'm looking forward to more of it. I just think that some people are hyping it up because it does have that 60 frames per second, which I don't know if that's super important in a game like this, because you're not trying to, target things with a reticle. Sure. And sure, that 60 frames per second is important to some people, but just talk about what a fun game it is, and that you don't have to have any hardware to play it. You don't have to have an Xbox or a PlayStation or a Switch or a PC. You don't have to have any of that stuff to play it. Would it have been nice if EA had upgraded the textures, or made the game run better, seeing as how Stadia is so much more powerful than the older systems? Sure, but that would have cost them money. That would have cost them a lot of money. They would have had to do a whole bunch of work to do that, to bring that over. Now, do I expect maybe the next Star Wars Jedi game, maybe that one will look a whole lot better on Stadia? Sure, because it's going to be made with Stadia in mind. Well, it's probably already in development, so maybe that one will probably be a port as well. I don't want people to say, "Oh my God, it's because I saw a lot of people saying it's 4K 60, and it is clearly not 4K 60. And I didn't understand why everybody was saying that, other than it's too hard for us to tell what resolution it's at. And of course, people in chat are saying the resolution doesn't matter, and they're right.
Exactly. When I did my first look, I think it was during my first look, one thing I said, it would be nice if there was like I don't know, a hidden option on Stadia that you could enable where it put out just a little tiny piece of text in the corner that says the actual native resolution that it's running on the blade, so that people don't have to play the guessing game. You don't have to count pixels. You don't have to take a screenshot and look for lines and do like the weird formula to figure out how many pixels are in this area. It'd be nice if they just threw it up there. I can understand why Google also wouldn't want to do that, because they wouldn't want people saying, "Oh, well, this game's only, it's not quite 4K. It's
1800."
Exactly, right. But it would be really nice for things like this where you're kind of scratching your head. At the end of the day, I don't really care about the resolution. 60 frames a second. I'd rather play more games in 1080p 60 than 4K 30 anyway. 60 to me just looks so much nicer. But the game itself is so much fun. The Jedi powers you get, the lightsaber battles are just so much fun. And the fact that Cameron Monaghan plays the main character of Cal Kestis, I like that actor from the various roles that he's been in. So it's kind of weird to be walking around with the guy from Shameless that then pulls out a lightsaber and cuts a stormtrooper in half, or I guess hits him with a blade that goes through him, but somehow the stormtrooper falls over and he doesn't have any sort of like body parts missing or anything.
Only droids get cut in half, Lloyd, in Star Wars.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's a very, very, very fun game, and definitely worth checking out if you can pick it up when it's on sale, because it's a steal for, what is it, like $22 or some stupid
really cheap
super
right
price.
Yeah, it's really cheap. And I haven't put as much time into that game as I would like to, mostly because I know it's a story-heavy game. And lately, I've been obsessed with either listening to a podcast, watching a YouTube video on one screen, or with my headphones in while playing a game at the same time. And that's the kind of game that I can't do that with, because you've got to pay attention. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on some awesome stuff. So I've been playing a whole lot more Pac-Man than I have Star Wars. That game is my new obsession. You can turn it on and play it while watching a video or listening to a video, really. Although I have gotten killed quite a few times because I'm playing a game and somebody on YouTube is talking about something, and so I turn my head to look, and then next thing I know, a ghost or another Pac-Man eats me. But that game is really good, but man, is it buggy. It is super buggy.
It's laggy too. I've noticed where ghosts will just disappear and appear in different places on the map. Like the game was out of sync with whatever server was controlling the positioning of everything. I've seen that happen a lot. I hope that all those things will get better with time. Now that they have more people playing constantly, they'll be able to run some metrics and figure out kind of where these tech blips are happening. But yeah, I agree with you. The game is fantastic. It is just, it's such a simple concept, and it's amazing that it hadn't been done before this. Having multiple people play Pac-Man instead of trying to turn Pac-Man into a game that isn't an arcade game. This keeps the arcade game, but then adds so much more in various layers to it. I'm a big fan of Pac-Man.
And just, I want to make sure that I'm clear for everybody who's listening. You say lag, and everybody assumes that it's Stadia lag. It's not that kind of lag. It's more along the lines of netcode kind of lag, where I guess like one example would be like in Smash Brothers, which is not the same exact thing, but in Smash Brothers, when you're playing with somebody with a bad connection, the whole game slows down. And it's not quite the same thing that's happening in Pac-Man, but that's completely different than latency because you're streaming a game. It's not that kind of lag. It's a different kind of lag. And if you played enough games, you know exactly what we're talking about. But I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that that's what you meant.
Yeah, it's kind of like the rubber banding and stuff that you get where an enemy moves forward but then jumps back because it lost sync of where its position is. I didn't expect to see that because all of the servers are run by the game in Google's cloud. It's not like you're running code on your own box in your house and then that gets sent up to the cloud. Everything is running in the cloud already, so I would have expected that wouldn't happen at all with multiplayer.
Well, I mean, but is it run in Google, or is it at Bandai Namco someplace?
Yeah,
like,
it's all the servers are sitting somewhere. I would assume that they would use Google cloud hosted servers to do the multiplayer stuff, but maybe they're hosting their own servers for that, or have it out in like Amazon or something, which is causing some of those issues.
It's funny. We've always heard how awful peer-to-peer is, but wouldn't in this case, wouldn't peer-to-peer instead of dedicated servers be better when you're talking about Google? Because everybody, like, if a company is doing their own dedicated servers, like Elder Scrolls Online, right?
Right.
They have their dedicated servers. They're not on Google or whatever. They're not Stadia. They're not part of Stadia or whatever. Your Stadia Blade is just connecting to the external device. So if that external thing is, not doing so hot, then maybe that's where that latency comes from. And I think that might be what's happening. That's what I would assume is happening, is that the connection between Google and who is it again? I just said it. Bandai Namco. Between Google and Bandai Namco is not so great, which also means that if you're playing this on a PS4 or an Xbox One, not that you can't because it's temporarily an exclusive, but if you were, you would run into those same exact issues.
Yeah, and I think it could be something as simple as when they were testing the game, every tester was running it off blades in the same data center. If this is just all running off of Google hosted servers, but now you have people from all over the world that are playing the game, so maybe there's some extra latency issues that they need to figure out, or there could be something there. We're not sure, obviously, what tech is completely driving this, but hopefully it's something they can fix in time, because that to me is my only complaint, and it's a very, very small complaint. Otherwise, Pac-Man has been incredibly fun, except I am trash at it, and I hate the game and want to flip my desk when I die by doing something stupid like turning the wrong way on a maze and getting eaten by ghosts. It's like, why did I hit up? I want it to go down. I don't understand what's happening here.
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right, let's move on to the news. I was going to talk about new releases and all that stuff, but we've kind of gone off the rails with what we were talking about before with Star Wars and stuff like that. So let's move on to the news. Every week they post a This Week in Stadia. This one was a big one. This one was a really big one. We talk about Jedi Fallen Order and how cheap it is. You can get that game for 60% off or $24, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you are interested in Star Wars at all, go pick that game up. But we also have new pro games. You want to tell people about the new pro games, Lloyd?
Yeah, we're getting another month of 6 pro games coming out on Stadia, which is fantastic. The 6 games are Into the Breach, Hitman 2, Kine, Monster Jam, Steel Titans, Everspace, and Secret Neighbor. So there's a couple big hits in this list, particularly Everspace, which is it's like a roguelike space adventure. I played it on the Switch. I know it's a cult classic on PC, and I can't wait to play it on Stadia. The Switch struggles every once in a while when I play the game. Be able to play it on better hardware will be a good thing for that game. But also Into the Breach. It's a really fun turn-based strategy game where you basically the world has ended and scientists have developed time machines to bring you back and kill the aliens before they destroy humanity.
Nice.
But when you die, they just send you back again, saying nope, didn't work. We got to do it again. So it's a really, really, really fun game. Very pixel arty, but it's a heck of a lot of fun as well. On top of everything else, like 6 games, I'm sure there's something here for everybody. Even like Monster Jam, some people like racing games or sports games. Hitman 2, more Hitman content. It's pretty fantastic.
I think that this is a really, really good variety. Kine, I was always interested in, never pulled the trigger on. Everspace has been on my wish list of a game to pick up for a really long time. Into the Breach has that awesome pixel art style that always gets me interested in a game every single time. That's the pixel art one, right? Am I remembering this correctly? Yeah, okay, good. And it like I've always been interested in it, but not enough to pull the trigger. And then they throw in something like Monster Jam Steel Titans, which honestly, I would have said if you said, "Hey Bill, you want to check out a monster truck game?" I would have said no. But for some reason, because I don't have to pay for it, because it's part of my subscription, I'm definitely going to try this out. And you know what? There's, you go on the Epic Game Store, they give away a game every week, right? It's every week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they give away games every week. You get your games on PlayStation every month. You get your games on Xbox every month. You get your Game Pass games as well. Like, there's a lot of places where we can get games that we're not actually saying, here is my cash money, hand me game, that kind of thing. And on all of those other services, I go in and I claim the stupid game, and then I never play it. And I never play it because I can't be bothered to download it or install it or whatever it is that I have to do. And on Stadia, you don't have to do that. So all of the barriers to me trying out Monster Jam Steel Titans, which I'm fully prepared for this game to not be for me.
Right.
But as a kid who grew up watching Bigfoot, and not Bigfoot like the Sasquatch, but Bigfoot like the blue truck with the big old tires. Like, I grew up watching that stuff, especially living where I live in a very rural part of America. That is appealing to me, and I'm definitely going to try it out because there is zero barrier to entry, and that's really exciting.
I've played a bunch of the Monster Jam games previously when they were on like crazy sales, mainly because they were easy trophies and achievements back when I'd pick up games just because it was an easy platinum or something. I don't do that anymore, but I've played a lot of them, and they range from terrible to not so good to I hear this one is supposed to be a little bit better by watching some of the videos and some of the early impressions for people that have played it. So maybe this one will be one that I love. But yeah, who doesn't love monster trucks, crushing cars and stuff? It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's such a weird thing to even exist. All right. In addition, in the This Week in Stadia blog post, they did a quick reminder for pro members: if you haven't claimed Super Hot, Power Rangers, Little Nightmares, Hello Neighbor, or Super Bomberman R Online, go claim them right now if you are a Stadia Pro member, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to after tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day that you're going to be able to do this. So by the time you either watch or listen to this, it may be too late. That's why you should be here for the live show. All right.
That's right.
Holy cow, the deals. There's a lot of Black Friday deals. I'm just going to bring them up on screen and scroll through them. Lloyd, what deals jump out at you as the best deals that are on Stadia right now for the Black Friday deals?
I mean, Borderlands 3 for $20. There's a ridiculous amount of content in the base game, even before you get to the DLC, if you want to pick that up. Borderlands 3 is just a fantastic value for $19.79 if you haven't already played it. But then there's the original, like Doom 2016 is $6. That is a fantastic game that it kind of reinvigorated first-person shooters on console for me. So be able to pick that up for $6 is ridiculous as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And then you can also pick up Doom Eternal for $20. You can pick up Marvel's Avengers for $30.
Yep.
Do you feel like that people should pick that game up? Because I know you were a big fan of it, but do you think that it has do you think that people should still pick it up, or is it kind of dead at this point?
I've pretty much only played it for single player. I've played a couple matches of multiplayer. And I've put about 90 hours into it from when it came out to when I was done with it. I got my Thor up to max tier level, or I think I was at 139 instead of 140 because I had to grind out some more stuff. It is a really fun game with a fantastic story. I truly hope that Square Enix can salvage this one and get all that free content out and get people playing. Multiplayer is a bit of a pain because unlike Destiny, where you can just like go to the moon and just kind of run around an open area and things randomly spawn, that doesn't happen here. You have to choose your mission, get into your mission, complete the mission, you're back at the main menu. If they could have some sort of open world thing with random spawning super villains and various things that you can do, where you could just be running around Manhattan, killing or subduing super villains, to me that would be a much better multiplayer mode. Sadly, that's not what's in this game, and I highly doubt it ever will be. So for me, I don't think multiplayer is ever going to be something that I put much time into it, but I will check out all the free content when it drops. I really enjoyed my time with the game and the story of Avengers.
And you bring up an interesting point. You say, I hope that Square Enix can make this better. There's been quite a few games that have launched abysmally bad, and they have turned it around. So and the games that can do that really well are the games as a service kind of games, which Marvel's Avengers absolutely is. So I think that that's definitely a possibility. If there's a game that can be turned around, it can be Marvel's Avengers. You got Square Enix. They're a big publisher. They've got lots of money. This also has the backing from one of the biggest corporations in the world, Disney. I'm sure that them only selling, 3 million copies, I believe. I'm sure that Disney is like over there saying, all right, now you're going to tell us how you're going to fix this, or we're not going to let you make the next thing or whatever. And so I do think that there's a good possibility that this game can be salvaged. Although, according to Lloyd, 90 hours in single player mode, absolutely worth $30.
100%. If you only pick it up to play the story, it is an amazing journey from start to finish. The story of Kamala Khan bringing the Avengers back together, figuring out what really happened in the world, and then getting to the end when you find out kind of what is really happening. Super compelling story. I hope we get a sequel that continues that story, or if they can continue the story through the free updates, because they're releasing free DLC characters. It was supposed to be every month, but then COVID got in the way and new consoles got in the way. So the first one is set to come out soon, I believe. So yeah, I'm excited for what is to come with this game. I truly hope that Square Enix can salvage it and people actually start playing the game again. But we'll see what happens. But it's a fantastic game, even with what you're just getting for the $30.
So some other really good deals in this Black Friday thing. The Division 2 Standard Edition for $14. That game is awesome, and it has Stream Connect. So if you want to check out Stream Connect, get in there, pick up the Division 2, join our Discord. There's a link in the description down below, and see if you can partner up with some other people who are fans of the show, and you guys can run around solving the world's post-apocalyptic problems one bullet at a time. All right. I think that there's a bunch of other sales on there. People can look and decide which ones are best for them. Here's my question to everybody who's watching. Let me know, what games did you buy on this sale? I told everybody to hide their wallets, and nobody listened to me. They bought a bunch of games on their sale. So let us know what games you bought on sale. Let's talk about some more news. This one, I don't know how I feel about it, because I've heard really good things about the Darksiders series. I played Darksiders
Genesis.
Genesis, thank you. I played Darksiders Genesis. I really, really enjoyed it, but it's also a wild departure from the other Darksiders games, even in genre. Like, it's not the same genre, and I really enjoyed it. Now there's rumors. This is from Stadia Hoy, which is a foreign language. I don't know what language it is because it automatically translated to
Spanish.
English. Oh, okay, it's Spanish. It automatically translated in my browser to English. But they found that it has been rated on the ESRB website, Darksiders 3, for Google Stadia. Now, have you played this, Lloyd?
I have. I've played all the Darksiders. I love the games. They are very much a Zelda sort of like action RPG where you need specific powers to get to certain areas, and you need to find those powers, and then you find them, you can go to specific areas, which gives you more powers, which then allows you to get to other areas. It's a really fun game series. It's kind of like Violent Zelda is kind of how I've when Darksiders 1 and 2 came out, I'm like, yeah, it's Zelda but with death and blood. It's a fun game series, and allowing more people to play it is definitely a good thing. They're all fun for different reasons. Even though Darksiders 1 is really showing its age. If you play it now, like if you download the port to Switch and you play it, it feels like a game from PlayStation 3 that you're playing on Switch. But the newer ones do get a little bit better.
So, speaking of games that are leaked by the ESRB, apparently there's also the USK, which that's the German ratings board. I don't understand why these guys can't keep their stuff behind a wall or something, but they have released, this comes to us from Stadiasource.com, Legend of Keepers by Goblin Studios has been rated for Stadia by the USK. Of course, you know, just like what we've said a million times, until it's actually announced by Google or by in this case, Goblin Studios, until it's actually announced by one of those, consider it a big rumor. But Legend of Keepers also rated for Stadia. So it looks like we've got some more stuff coming. And then we had Siriana in our community Discord sent this to me, and they said that they went into shadowofwar.com, which is the Lord of the Rings, like is that the first one or the second one? Shadow of War. There's Shadow of Mordor, and then Shadow of War is the second one, right?
Correct.
Okay, so they were at Shadow of War, and the terms of service, they have Stadia written everywhere. Like if you go in here and you do a like Control F and search for Stadia, it's in here like 4 times on this tiny or on this terms of. Yeah, it's actually not even that long. It's in there 4 times in like 4 different paragraphs. But the one thing is that this is from September 2019. So,
which is when Mortal Kombat hit. So I'm thinking that they have whatever service or whatever content management system they use for their websites probably spits these terms of services out for every platform they support automatically. So yeah, I don't think this is indicative of the game coming to Stadia. It would be great. This is a great franchise. I've loved both of the Mordor games, but I think this is just, they released a game on Stadia, so now their content management system put terms of service on every single game on their website platform for Stadia, even though the game might not actually be on Stadia.
And while I completely say hold this with a grain of salt, it seems kind of like, so here's what I would do is I would go to every game that, and I don't know why I didn't do this ahead of time, but I would go to every game that WB made and look at their terms of service and see if they all mention Stadia. And if they do, then that kind of supports exactly what Lloyd is saying. My guess is that maybe they just took the Mortal Kombat one. They decided, all right, we're going to make this this game for Stadia, the Shadow of War game. And what we'll do is we'll just copy the terms of service from there over to here, and they've changed anything that they needed to change, but they forgot about the date. I think that is also a possibility. I own Shadow of Mordor. I got it on a Steam sale for like $2 or something, so it was like super, super cheap. And I never played it. And don't be mad at me, everybody. Everybody always gets mad at me when I own games and don't play them. But I never played it, and I've heard nothing but good things though. So I definitely, my fingers are crossed that this comes. Now you said you played both.
Yep.
Is it necessary to play the first one to appreciate what happens in the second one?
Not really, no.
Good.
They're kind of related, but not so much. Like you don't need to know what happened in the first one to play the second one.
All right, that's good to know. All right, speaking of rumors, this is not a rumor. Gods Will Fall, which is I'm bringing it up right now, has been announced to come to Stadia. Is that muted? It is muted. Good. That is coming to Stadia. We know that is coming to Stadia. And it actually, oh my God, YouTube, why are you doing this to me? It's so slow and crappy whenever I'm streaming. It's got a cool look to it. Looks almost like a top-down 3/4 view action game. I really like the art style of this thing. Very, very cool. It's freezing a whole bunch, but that's because I'm doing too much for my computer. What do you think of this game, Lloyd?
I think it looks great. I love the realism mixed with kind of cartoony sort of graphics. I think it looks fantastic. This is a game that I want to play for sure.
And it comes out January 29th next year. So that seems like a long way away, but it's actually not. As we said at the beginning of the show, it's already December, almost.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's speaking of rumor and speculation. This is not rumor nor speculation, but it's going to sure cause a whole bunch of rumor and speculation to happen around the Stadia community. The Kronos Group, which are the people who are in charge of Vulkan, which is basically the analog to Direct 3D that Stadia is using, and a lot of developers are using as well. They say that ray tracing now has a final specification release. This is from the official source for this.
Yep.
So it says right here, December 2020, Vulkan SDK with ray tracing updated samples. So what do you think, man?
I think this is good. This means that they've worked in hardware-based ray tracing into the Vulkan core, which is fantastic. Which means that developers using Vulkan with hardware that will support it will be able to easily implement ray tracing. There's a lot of people that every new game comes out and it's like, hey, look at that reflection. This game has ray tracing. No games have hardware-based ray tracing on Stadia right now. Not to say that they won't in the future, but right now they don't. Developers can do their own sort of software-based ray tracing if they want. They can do it. It's very CPU expensive and GPU expensive, but they can do it. But this will make it easier because it's just going to be a low-level thing built into the middleware that they're using, the framework, the Vulkan framework. So this is good for the future. It doesn't confirm Stadia Gen 2 that we talked about a while ago, and made some people angry. But this confirms that at least the Vulkan group are putting the work in to get hardware-based ray tracing support into their framework so that when compatible hardware comes out, they'll be able to leverage that.
And now I'm going to say something that everybody's going to disagree with. There'll be a little green thing that shows up above my head that says everyone disliked that. As awesome as ray tracing is, I don't think it is the end all be all of the future of gaming. Is it awesome? Does it make the games look great? Absolutely. It's really, really cool. But I've been playing games for a very long time without ray tracing and I still had fun. So just because a game doesn't have ray tracing or if a platform doesn't support ray tracing does not mean that it's inherently bad. And I wish that people would I just wish game developers and platform holders would stop talking about the cool stuff and just say, this is what our game looks like. And just show the game and stop talking about ray tracing or that PS5 thing where they had the guys on from Epic Games and they showed that demo and they were like, and this is what we were able to do in 5 months or something like that. All of that stuff is cool. But as soon as you give those talking points to gamers, they get unnecessarily biased against anything that doesn't have those things, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, ray tracing is fantastic. Like when you have a game that looks good, and then they implement ray tracing for lighting and shadows and reflections, it makes the game look better. Like if you want to see a great example of ray tracing, look at Watch Dogs Legion. With and without ray tracing, the Stadia version definitely doesn't have ray tracing. Like what we're talking about is ray tracing, but when you're playing it on Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5, and you walk by stores and you look into the stores, you get reflections of reflections of cars driving in behind you. It's a really cool effect, and it's very light for developers to implement. They don't have to implement that themselves. It's part of, well, I guess they have to implement the features, but they don't have to roll their own sort of solutions for this. It's built into the engine and the middleware that they're using, so they don't have to think about, okay, I know we're only rendering stuff that the people can see, but what's happening behind them that we need to have for reflections. They don't have to worry about that because it's all being handled by the hardware support for ray tracing. So games are going to look so much better when they implement ray tracing the right way, but it doesn't make the game more fun. Just like people say that resolution doesn't make a game more fun. Yes, 60 frames a second can make certain games more fun if you're playing a shooter, or if you're playing a game like Fortnite. If your screen is updating 60 frames a second, it means you have the ability to do an input 60 times a second as well, where if you're playing against someone that can only do it 30 frames a second, they can only do it they can only update their controls half as much as you can, so it can make for a better things. That's why when you see competitive game players for Fortnite, for example, they play at like 240 frames a second, even though they only have a monitor that can support like 140 frames per second or whatever. But they want more input stuff, so it'll make huge changes for things like that. Ray tracing is just a nice coat of paint on top of an already nice house that makes things look better. So it's not the be all and end all, but it will make things look much better once it is finally supported on Stadia.
I will say this, that somebody in chat, and it's scrolled by and I can't find it again now, they said if you want ray tracing on Stadia, you have to open up the ports on your router.
That's right. I gotta go do that. All right. Stadia, can you let me in to your network monitoring stuff so I can do that?
All right. So real quick, before we get to the crowd play, which is where we talk about all of the things that you guys said, upcoming games. Chronos Before the Ashes comes out on December 1st. When I saw that, my brain was thinking Chorus, which is coming out next year, which those developers have talked about ray tracing on Stadia a little bit. But Chronos Before the Ashes is coming out in just a couple of days. And I watched a video for that game, and it looks really cool. I'm very interested in Chronos Before the Ashes, and I had no idea. Along with that, we're getting the pro games that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Immortals Phoenix Rising is coming out December 3rd. Fogs, which is like a dog with a head at both sides of it or whatever, that comes out December 3rd. And then El Hijo, a Wild West tale, also comes out on December 3rd. So we've got a whole bunch of games coming out this week. And if you're a pro member, you're getting 6 of those as part of your subscription. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's there's some really great games coming out, man. I like Immortals Phoenix Rising out already. I don't understand how that's a thing. I've been looking forward to this game forever and wanting to play it forever, and the demo was just enough to whet my appetite, and then I've been starving for the game ever since. It's coming like next week. Like what's happening, Bill? We talked about it at the start of the show. I can't believe that it's almost December and now we have Immortals coming out. Well, I still have Watch Dogs and Valhalla and all the stuff on my Xbox and all the other Stadia games and all the pro stuff that's come for the last few months. We've an embarrassment of riches right now on Stadia.
I have way too many friggin' games to play. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I love that game. It's so good. I haven't touched it in like 5 or 6 days because I've been playing Pac-Man and Star Wars and Hyrule Warriors on my Switch. I've been playing there's so many games to play, and we just can't focus on any one of them because there's so much awesome stuff. It's just a really awesome time to be somebody who loves to play video games.
That's right.
So real quick, we've got some super chats that came in. None of them had actual questions, but it was just people who wanted to support the show. So we really do appreciate. Infinity became a member. Matthew Bow sent in a super chat along with Sukotronic and Michael Richardson. Michael Richardson said, awesome show. And Granite T Rock just sent in one this moment. It said, Stadiacast shares commentary, and it's awesome. Well, thank you very much, Granite, for the comment and the support.
That's awesome.
We appreciate it. That's going to be it for us today because nobody sent in questions, and that's okay. We don't have to have questions. We'll happily accept the support. But that's going to be it for the show today. If you want, you can find us on Twitter. The show is at Stadiacast. I'm at Run Jump Stomp, and Lloyd is at Dasme. That's Dasme. My wife is sneaking into the room with a tea. Aw, thank you, honey. Oh. She brought me a tea in a Corner Gas mug. I'm going to show it to everybody. The Ruby, right there. The Ruby. If you haven't seen Corner Gas, watch it. I don't know what your problem is. You're missing out on some really good stuff. Then join our Discord. There's a link in the description down below, or you can head to runjumpstomp.com to join the Discord. Thanks, everybody. You're awesome. Lloyd, why don't you tell everybody something cool, and I'm going to stop recording. The pressure's on.
Part of the show. I'm put on the spot. Everybody get out there, play your games, go check out the sales before they disappear. It is like we've been saying, it is a fantastic time to be a gamer, and it's even better to be on Stadia because you have no downloads. You can just click and play the game. It's a wonderful feature.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Later.
All right. Save. We did it.
You put me on the spot. I always do that at the end of the show
without think of anything.
Without prodding. I do it at the end of the show anyway. But then you're like, do this thing. I'm like, oh my god, I have performance anxiety all of a sudden. What am I doing?
All right, save project as. What episode is this? Do you know? 87?
86.
87.
87. Show notes say 86, so you have to change that as well.
Okay. Just because I went to save it and there's already a Stadiacast 86. And I think that's because I didn't do show notes for Mike Krahulik.
Right.
So that's what it is. So we're at 87, and I'm going to have to edit that later. And if you guys are like, what show notes? You can find the show notes right here at runjumpstomp.com. And it says 86 because I'm dumb. All right. Well, there we go. We did it, everybody. And I'm going to take a sip of this tea. Good show, Lloyd.
Yeah, good show, Bill. I feel bad that I haven't finished any games lately. Like I don't think I can remember a time when I've had so many games that I've been so excited for that have such a long playtime that all come out within like 2 months of each other. Like I don't remember that in gaming. Because between Watch Dogs Legion, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Valhalla, Immortals Phoenix Rising, and Cyberpunk 2077, those are 5 games that have come out within 2 months of each other, and I haven't finished any of them because I want to play all of them. Kodiak is saying finish Watch Dogs. I'm close to the end of that one. I should just finish off the main story, and then I can do all the other cleanup stuff later. I have gamer ADD when it comes to Ubisoft games. I want to tick everything off the map, so I have problems doing that, but I should maybe soldier on and just get it done.
I'm probably, I don't know, 12 hours or so into Age of Calamity. I'm going real slow. As much as I played this week, I haven't had tons of time. But I just saw Stealth 40K tweet that he's 40 hours in to that game and has no idea how far he is from the end. And I'm like, wow. Oh my God, I'm going to be playing these games. Games are too long. Yeah. And like, I know that people don't like it when I say that, but I feel like games are just too long. I can't finish any games. They're just all too damn long. Even the short games I don't get to because I'm too busy playing the long games.
I agree. I just looked. I googled it. There are 7 chapters in Hyrule Warriors with 20 missions, not including all the challenge stuff.
I'm on
So
chapter 3.
I'm on chapter 3 as well. So I'm not even halfway through the game, and I thought I was pretty far because I've gotten all the champions, and I've been in the walking around in the beasts and blowing people up from great distances, and that's not even close to the end of the game. So I got a lot more work to do on that one as well.
Well, everybody, thank you all for coming to hang out with us for the live show. You guys are fantastic. The microphone is too far from me. You guys are awesome. Really do appreciate it. We are... Go ahead.
Sukotronic. Resolution doesn't matter. Neither does ray tracing.
Nice. And wait a second. I saw a super chat coming from Sukotronic, but I did shout him out. Okay. Well, if I didn't, Sukotronic, thank you. His weekly... Every time there's a stream, he comes in and throws a super chat every time. He's so reliable.
Yeah. You people are just unbelievable. Super happy. Super happy about the community that we've been able to foster over the last year and a half, and hopefully some big things come in the future as well. I'm excited for more stuff.
And by the way, everybody who's here in the live chat, if you want to continue this conversation, go to our Discord, join up. It doesn't cost you anything. There's a bunch of awesome people in there. Hop in the Discord. runjumpstomp.com will take you there. And have an awesome day. Lloyd, I think it's time for us to wrap up.
Sounds good. Take it easy, everybody. And don't let the Discord scare you. I'm there all the time, but you can ignore me. Feel free to ignore me.
Bye, everyone.
Later.